We're live.
I wait for your cue, Cortez. I always wait for your cue. You are my IT guy. You are the man behind the project, and for that, we appreciate it. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, the icon, the symbol, Mr. 239 himself, the most polarizing man in 239 history, the king of Thursday nights, X to the D to the A to the L to the Y. Now, don't forget it. This ship sinks if I am not here, but guess what? I am here, so this ship will keep on rowing. With that said, we have a very packed hour. We have a lot of stuff to get into, so without further ado, Mr. Pale Poner showing up right on the dot. How's it going, man?
Doing all right, man. You know, just getting our first series out of the way, and I got another one tonight, so I'm pretty excited to get that going. Let's get right into it, though. Ability, you're over there. How you doing, Mr. Elite Forward?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm toughing through it. I told the guys before we started the show here, I got to go upstairs and get my ice pack. I'll tell you what, you never want to play a Cosmic Fade team that early in the season, and I'm injured because of it, but we'll get into that. Cortez, you beautiful motherfucker. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing good. I just had a bunch of guys out in the hallway just yell for no reason. But I'm doing good. You know, Pale said we have a series tonight. It's going to be against Brick City, you know, the guy I had to trade for to win a championship apparently. And I'm excited for it, you know. But listen, Mr. Icon, why don't you take us in the direction of where we need to go for this night's Thursday Throwdown?
And we got a lot to get into, but before we do that, obviously, I have to make my mark. I have to let everybody know about the new product lines that we have coming out. It is the brand new I line, and what that means is we got a bunch of new products to be coming out over the next coming weeks. First and foremost, you want to play like the icon, and you need to drink like the icon. And that right here is iFuel, fam. iFuel. You can get this on 239hockey.net. You want to play like the icon, you need to drink like the icon. And if you want to perform like the icon, you obviously need the iSoup One. This is the #1 supplement on the market. This is how I have stayed relevant for the last 10 years. People ask me all the time, this is it. So if you want to play like the icon, you need to perform and get ready like the icon. So these products will both be up 239hockey.net. iSoup One for your #1 supplement out there, and the iFuel. So remember that. Ability probably could use some right now for that bum fucking back of his, unlike his bum fucking play for his team right now. But we're going to get into that in just a little bit. Now, I want to start out with this because it's been driving me nuts. Why is it that grown men can go into a chat box and type things with a 17-year-old, 16-year-old captain that says, #I like penis, and think this is okay? I'm absolutely appalled when pulling up the sex registry list for that team and seeing names like Call Me Jackoff. I mean, that's another ridiculous name. And O'Brien shows up on this list. 3-time offender, mind you. 3-time offender. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this captain is just a young boy, just a young child. And I am really, really devastated, and I'm disgusted, to be completely frank, by what's taking place. Pale, I mean, what the hell is going on over there? This is not Mr. Rogers' neighborhood anymore.
I don't know that I have a response to that. I don't know.
Well, Ability, what do you think, man? I mean, you've been on squads with guys of this age and never had a problem, man. You're like just the cool dude, like never had an issue. But now all of a sudden I'm seeing #I like penis, and this is a cause for concern for me. Like, I actually thought about shutting the site down. That's how disgusted I was with what I was seeing. Do you have a response to this?
I got to be honest, the kids in today's world, they're always doing this crazy stuff with text messaging too. Now, I know some of it just by habit, nature, but I think that this is one of those things where, you know, they started out with the #sports thing and it got slurred around so bad, and now they've just shortened it to I like penis. I think the entire team actually likes penis now.
And it's just disgusting. And like, you know, I don't even really know what to say anymore. But Bailey, I mean,
listen,
obviously, man, you and Cosmic are great friends, and I'm just worried about his well-being over there because I'm seeing all this thrown around so loosely.
Listen, I am too, but all of you guys remember being 16, 17, being a little curious sexually with what you're doing, who you are, everything like that. And I think Cosmic's just at that stage where he might be experimenting with men, and it just happens to be a lot older.
Listen, not just men, and that's not the issue. That's fine. It's whatever you swing, man. But The age discrepancy, that's my issue. I mean, when you're looking at this and Dominator Silva is about 30 years old. Cosmic Fade is barely 15. This is a problem for me. This is double the age. That's an issue. So again, I don't know what's happening. I'm surprised Kayla is okay with this. Like, I know Kayla, and I'm surprised. Yeah, sure. She said, I'm going to beat you with my dick and shit. But, I'm really concerned about what's happening over there. So I guess I'll segue because that's the bad going on. I mean, they're 5-1 right now. We wouldn't know that because Noah Gretzky's can't do his stats. It's funny because when the guys out there winning fucking Art Rosses, when the guys out there winning points titles, stats are in. Can't find them in faster. But all of a sudden, you go 1-4-1 and stats are nowhere to be found. So I guess my question is Ability, you got a little chance to play that Cosmic squad the other night. Are these guys the real deal, or are they just kind of getting off to a hot start?
Well, I don't want to say they're not the real deal. I don't think so. Here's what happened in my series in particular. Figo, oink oink, man. He was out doing his job. And he wasn't able to make our series. So I was down a guy, which kind of pressed our hand a little bit. But, those guys were without Jacko. I don't know if that was intentional or unintentional, but it happened. So getting to play that squad, I think they're good. I think that my belief, and I'm probably going to get ridiculed, but what's new? I think this team right off the draft was labeled improperly. They are a great team. Okay, they're going to be one of the top contenders, but I do not think they were the no Regretskis team of 2 seasons ago.
Pale. When you look at this roster up and down, you see the 5-1 start. They did take a loss last night to Ability and his boys, and we're going to talk about Ability's team in just a little bit because I think there was a captain mistake that was made thus far early in the season. But Pale, when you look at Cosmic's team, is this a team that is, again, just getting off to a really nice start, the 5-1 start, 6 games in, that's great? Or do you see them being a legitimate contender all year?
Yeah, no, I think they're the most complete team coming out of the draft. I mean, Cosmic's obviously a stud at left wing. He picked up his 2 LG boyfriends in Jakku and O'Brien to play center. I don't think you'll ever see them in the lineup at the same time. One's going to play center one part of the week, and one's going to play center the other part of the week. And he's got 2 great defensemen in Rev Hellcat and Dominator Silva, and he's got arguably the best goalie in the league in B-Crips. AZ Mike War is playing right wing primarily for him, and I think he's mostly the wild card on this team, but he's looked really good in the games that I've seen him play and in the series so far. So, I mean, coming out of the draft, I think they had the most complete team up and down the lineup. They had 5 great skaters and arguably the best goaltender in the draft. So I don't know how you do much better than that.
Bailey, what have you done to Tomahawk? Seriously, what have you done? The guy wins a cup. Congratulations. He wins 1 cup. And all of a sudden, it's like something that happens. It's like Holtby syndrome. You remember when Holtby won that cup and he was riding high, man? Like, I'm going to change positions. I'm this fucking G, right? And you get a guy like Tomahawk who wants to shit on the new supplement line. Tomahawk, listen, I've been doing this for a decade. You're a flash in the pan, man. Don't make me bury you. Don't make me retire you too. I don't want to do it because I'm a Thomas Billing guy. Don't make me do it. But Bailey, when you look at Aiden O'Neill and you look at the team that he's constructed, I know for a fact that you are a big believer in this squad. So I don't even know I need to ask you, but thus far, 5-1 start, you're obviously not surprised by this.
Actually, the only thing I'm surprised about, Ability, I think you're the one team to take the loss against them, right? I mean, you gave them a loss, right?
Right.
What was that score of that game?
5-3.
Wow. So without Figo, you had the thing is, with the bounces they get, I watched that little video AZ Mike were put together. That was a highlight video of, let's say there's 10 goals in there. There was about 6 goals of bounces that shot somehow, bounces in the net, bounces wherever it's going to be. Then they had a few nice goals. I'm not surprised that they're doing as good as they are. They are arguably the best team. They are a team there are 5 people, including Cripps, that are first or second round talent. And then AZ Mike War, who's just fitting into the system. O'Brien would be a top center in this league if he was full-time. Jakku would be a full-time center, a top line first few round center if he was in this league. I mean, they're all great players. Kayla and Dom obviously being the couple they are. Kayla being a great defenseman. Don't want to give Dom any blowy, but you know what? I will. He's gotten better. He's even better at 19. So that team's just got the talent. And I mean, I think they'll become that team that everyone looks at that roster and goes, that will be that team. I think ability's right. I think they're not as good as that it's portrayed to be right now, but they will be. And if you let that team go offensively and get that synergy, that's a game over because they've got a great back end and the best goalie in the league. So
there's one thing that worries me about this team. Take this any which way you. I know all the players on this team. I know a lot of the players on this team. I know a lot of them. I know all of them. My worry with this team is when they get down, when they play from behind. Because what happens is, and I think one of the big skill sets they have right now is a very good trap team. They trap very well. Now, if you're playing down 1-0, down 2-0, which I think they have a couple of really good defensive teams that they have yet to play yet, I think that those teams will pose the most struggle because if they go down 2-0, Call Me Jackoff will absolutely 100% try and be a hero. Cosmic Fade, which we've all known, and he's so good at it, but he does the hero thing where he tries to be a hero. It happens. It's just something that happens. And as soon as they do that, one of their biggest strengths in being that trap becomes very open. And now you have a good defensive team, and then you have good defensemen who know how to break the puck out. There's a couple teams that they've played have really good defensemen that know how to break the puck out. Take all these variables into play. If that team gets down to those teams, I think that in a 7-game series, they're in trouble. But right now, they're good. They're running 5-1. We can't speculate about what's going to happen. That's just something that I believe, based on the player talent pool that they have on that squad, that could potentially be an issue. But there is no denying the amount of skill that they have on this team. Now, I want to flip to the other side. No Gretzky is in this very tight spot. You know, last year he was seen as the favorite, and then they ended up getting bounced in dramatic fashion. I ended up having to retire D-Mart, obviously, from the league because he had to go. So that was obviously something I needed to do. He needed time off. I had to do that to him. But I'll bring him back. Don't worry. But when you look at it and look at Nova Gretzky's team, I think this team is way worse for wear than it was last year. I think the BBX trade does make them a little bit better. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think it's a team that's still going to struggle. Choose great on right D. But him and Wingles, I've tried that D pair. I've had that D pair. That D pair does not work. And it showed against the sports team that it was a lot of space to move out there. You got to be quick. So Pale, when you look at Nova Gretzky's roster and you're kind of looking it up and down, what do you think the potential for this team is the rest of the way after the BBX trade?
Yeah, I think they're going to be hurting. The defense didn't work last year, and I don't think it's going to work this year. I don't know what the issue is primarily, but Chu and Wingles just can't work it out. They can't get it together. And Gretzky obviously thinks that he's already got problems on left wing. He makes an early trade to go get BBX instead of Nick DeGreek. And I don't know that fixes the offense or the defense. I can't recall who he's got in net.
Gretzky's has Mac North. Mac North's in net.
Okay, Mac North's a solid goaltender. He's not going to blow your pants off or anything like that, but he's a good guy and a good solid goaltender. But I don't know. I see this team as potentially a bubble team. I could also see them missing the playoffs, to be honest. Even with Gretzky's on there, they're a good team, but there's some issues on the left side of the ice that are going to be the downfall.
Ability, man, just quickly on Noah Gretzky's team, what do you see happening with this team moving forward?
To be honest with you, I don't know. And I think that he actually fell victim to, I don't know. I think a lot of people drafted a lot of their friends in this draft. And I think that he did a little bit of that. I don't know if it's going to come back to bite him. He seems to be, with whatever he's doing right now, like preoccupied. So I'd be curious when he's able to give his 110 to 239, how he's going to rebound back. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
I think that's a great point because it's no question the guy's got his hands in about 900 different things. His actual manager is here on the call right now, Bailey Cortez. He's got Brian, slugging out versus games, trying to get to Toronto, where he can jerk off with 4 other dudes and hopefully win some money. And then he can make Bailey some money, make Simplicity a thing, and then go from there. Which, by the way, I'm surprised Simplicity hasn't decided to get into bed with the Icon, but that's their mistake.
We'll talk about iSups 1 and iFuel. We'll talk about it. Like, if you're smart, you'll bring the #1 most profitable man in virtual hockey on board to make you money. The most polarizing
amazing man in 239 history, but you've yet to do that. And obviously your brand is struggling because of it. But
I
we
can't
can
wait
talk.
to get some Sup 1.
Yep, Sup 1. I Sup 1 available 239hockey.net. You can get that. And as
I got some after losing my series to Daily earlier this week. So let's see if it works tonight.
It helped repair his face, man. Bailey's on the comeback trail. Look no further than Esoteric. Look what I have done for Esoteric. He was nothing, and now here he is on the comeback trail. But see, this is the thing. You guys weren't listening. You weren't listening to the words that I was saying. You were hearing what you wanted to hear, but you were not listening to the words coming out of my mouth. And I told you guys this was going to happen. I warned each and every one of you that Esoteric was on the comeback trail. He was being resurrected, and yet here he is, 7 points in his first series, a 5th rounder. You guys let that happen. You let me get a 1st rounder in the 5th. I'm going to slug some eye fuel really quick.
Well, listen, let me talk about Brian there, like you asked me to.
Yeah, please, your client, please.
So I think Brian's only mistake was, and Pale and I talked about it a little bit, is where he had to take Holtby. Kyle has proven to work well with Brian, and like I'm not against the draft pick at all. I think the issue is where he could have taken Holtby, but the issue is if he lets Holtby drop past that where he has those picks. The issue is then he gets picked up as a goalie to somebody probably in the 3rd round when goalies started to go all of a sudden. So like Pale brought that to my attention. And I think that's something that hurts Brian's team compared to last season, because last season he was able to get DeMart and Grish back-to-back basically. And that formed out his whole defense. Then he got his offense after that with a rookie of Crispy that nobody really knew about, and Kyle that I don't know if anybody planned on drafting as their center. So I think that's why it worked out for him so well last season, where this season he's like, okay, I got to take Kyle now if I'm going to take Kyle, because I don't think he'll be there at my picks at the end of the 3rd and the 4th round. And I think that's something that really hindered his team. And from there, Nick's a great player. Don't think he's going to fit into Brian's style. He trades him for BBX. I think BBX is a great player. I don't think BBX is going to fit him with Brian's style again. So it's all about finding that left winger that fits their forward style. And the biggest question mark I had during the draft was Chu is much better at this game than he was at 18. Chu is not the question mark. It's Wingles. And it didn't work last season between those two either. So I don't know why the thought was to go with that again. But, I mean, Brian normally has a reason for everything he does, and he normally can always trade his way out of anything. So we'll see what he does. But I think Pale hit it right on the head that it's probably a bubble team or a team that could miss the playoffs, potentially.
Now, in a conversation I had with Brian with a Y earlier, he is, and I quoted, no Regretskis knows what he's doing. There's only a couple people in this land that can talk in the 3rd person, with me being one of them. I don't think that he's earned that right, because he cannot get his stats in, which he then followed up. I promise you these will be in before the show, which was also a blatant lie. So I can only assume that Noah Gretzky's knowing what he's doing is also a goddamn lie. And that is what he has been spewing as lie after lie after lie. Therefore, I feel that this team is going to be shit. Absolute fucking shit. And that is all I am going to say on the matter. Ew, yo. Now, moving along, this is something that I find absolutely interesting. Now, ability is a first-time forward, so we thought, captain. He drafts the goalie, does the whole bit. He goes out there. His team picks up a win. He's playing forward. He's making passes. He's making plays.
He had 2 goals and 1 assist, too, in that game.
2 goals, 1 assist. The nipples of the fucking ability community are standing at attention, and ice cubes are being rubbed to keep up the constant bing. And all of a sudden, what does he do? He sits himself and puts in, I don't even know, and proceeds to lose the next 2 games. Now, here's a couple problems.
It was BBX, I think, that went in for him.
Okay, so BBX goes in for him, whatever. Here's a couple problems that I have. If you are trying to be a polarizing figure in this league, you do not, under any circumstances, good guy or not, bench yourself. That is an absolute fucking travesty. Secondly, ability. You won a game. Whatever happened to don't fuck with what's working, don't change it. And you fucking take yourself out of the goddamn lineup. Now, I'm not even going to talk to you yet, because now I've just become enraged. I've become enraged by thinking about this and speaking it out loud. Yeah, you sip your coffee, because I'm absolutely appalled. Now, Pale, I need to ask you, because literally I'm disgusted with this. would you ever, because you're a competitor, you're like fucking me, man. Like, we're competitors. Would you ever pull yourself after a win ever as a captain?
I wouldn't pull myself ever, period. Like, after a win or after a loss, no matter what. Like, I'm playing if I'm captaining. I mean, I'm probably playing when I'm not captaining, but there's no reason that I would ever be out of the lineup on my own team.
Now, I almost just fainted after that long rant, and thank God I had my iFuel by and ready to go. And by the way, you can actually mix them. You can put the iSup1 into the iFuel, and it's just double the benefits, really. So now I'm back. I'm pepped. I am the icon. I am polarizing. I am feeling great. Bailey, would you ever, a guy who's won a cup in this league, a name on the belt, would you ever bench yourself after a win? Ever?
After a win, no. But I would bench myself if I thought it was better for my team. And I think that's the difference between myself and you and Pale. I think I am a good player. You guys, I think, are better than I am. So that's where it puts me in a different category. I would be willing to sit myself if I thought my team would do better without me. And I think that us media have been kind of a culprit for why Ability might think that. And BBX is a great player, and to have him on the bench after they won, I don't know if I would have messed with it after you just won because clearly something worked. But I get it. Ability has a lot of hassle from all of us for playing forward. And at the same time, the guy's got a heart of gold. He wants his team to win. He wants to do whatever puts their team in the best position, and he just tried to do it.
Here's the
game
thing.
could have went either way after they won that first one.
Here's the thing, Bailey. Here's the thing. If Ability truly believes that he is a forward in this league, then you nut the fuck up and you play forward. Not like, okay, well, if Joe Blow said, who the fuck cares what Joe Blow said? Unless the icon said it, it doesn't fucking matter. Now you play forward and you make it happen. No more benching yourself. You made a trade. You get BBX out of there, okay? You get your ass on forward and you fucking play. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to talk about what you've done. I'm already disgusted. I'm almost as disgusted as the I love penis bit. Like you're entering that fucking realm. But I'm going to give you a chance here, man. What was the thought process? I need to know.
Yeah, sure. So the way this went down was I have been very active since the draft in my team chat. So earlier in the day, I sent them an 8-paragraph freaking text. And it was like this, and this. And I posted my starting lineup. My starting lineup initially did not have me playing game one. I did this specifically because I have gotten chirped quite a bit and I've been sent quite a few DMs. And so I get it, man. I'm not viewed as an elite forward by all y'all. That's fine. I get it. Maybe I'm not, right? I'm not that good. I understand. I admit it. But I wanted to give BBX the opportunity with the team because we've been practicing. He'd been playing good. I wanted to give him the opportunity to go out there and see what could happen. And he couldn't make game one. So I started game one. We won game one. After that, a couple things happened. BBX went on a penalty spree, racking up like 10 in 2 games. And BTW's team turned it on. So there was a little bit of both. I don't know, had I played forward in those next 2 games, if the result would have been different. It would have been slightly different, but I don't know how much different. But, you know, man, look, I'm just trying to make this work. Plus, I want to get all my guys playing times. Like, you know, these teams, look, we got a 7th guy out there. If I can get my 7th guy in a rotation, by golly, I'm going to let him play some games. This league, I feel, it might be cutthroat, but we're all talented to a degree. And I know how I believe I can utilize the players on my team and give everyone equal opportunity playing time. I seriously do. So that's where I'm at with it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go one step further. If you miss the playoffs by 1 or 2 games, you better fucking believe that I will come back to this show. And I want to talk about cutthroat. You will receive the worst fucking lashing that you have ever received by this verbal tongue in your whole entire life. Because if you miss the playoffs by less than 2 points, less than 4 points, I will destroy you. Literally, I will verbally destroy you. And I hope you understand. I literally hope you understand because guess what? It is cutthroat. It is 239. This is the real deal. And guess what? If you're not cutting it, you're not fucking cutting it. But you're the goddamn captain. You be in the game. So expect that if you do not make the playoffs or if you miss by a slim margin. I'll throw that out. So enough about ability, man. We're going to let him off the hook. Look at me smiling, man. He's having a great time. You ain't going to be smiling if you miss the playoffs by 4 points. I'll tell you that much. Now, Moving along, I just want to ask Cortez, I got you on here. You look like you're in pretty good faith. After taking that puck off the teeth, man, I just want to know, how are you feeling? Are you recovering okay? I know I sent you the supplements, man. Make sure you mix that with the eye fuel, the iSup one, eye fuel. Get that all mixed up together. A couple days, you should be back at it, man. How are you feeling, though? Good?
Listen, the stuff you sent me, it's worked wonders. It's giving me a little bit of a rash right here on my neck and whatnot, but I'll figure that out. I've already been talking to the FDA about it. But the puck off my face was a perfect representation of my night. I made terrible intercepting passes. I just had an off night. I was bad. I was not good. And taking the puck to the face was a perfect way to symbolize how my night was going. Clearly, as I was playing you, and you recorded it from the bench with the perfect view. So that's, it was just perfect. It was good.
Some would argue, Cortez, that you are a mini me, well, a bigger mini me, but you are a mini me. So the fact that I was able to get a front row seat to watch you take a rubber biscuit off the front of your mouth was quite enjoyable, if I do say so. I'm glad you're doing better. I really am. This is This show still goes on without you, but the production value is not quite there. So we appreciate you being okay. Now, I want to talk about this, and we're going to get into the league stuff here, but I just want to touch on this really quickly. Are people actually crying about the trap? I saw a lot of built-in excuses over the Marty McFly trap. Guys, listen, it's a new game.
Who cried about that? Before you keep going, who actually cried about a trap?
I know the Sergeant Lebner, who was absolutely chirping the icon on draft night, was crying. All you do is trap turds because all you do is trap. Listen, guys, I hear about turds. I hear about trap. There's not a lot of ice. There's not a lot of ice. So that takes a couple things into consideration. One, the power play, the penalty kill. This is going to be even more important than it was ever before. The special teams will dominate this year. I think the scoring itself naturally is going to be lower, but I think the power play and penalty kill are going to speak volumes to the teams that are having success. There is not a lot of room in 5-on-5 hockey. Trap is what works. If you cannot get through the trap, you better start high dumping, chipping boards, figuring it the fuck out. But crying and bitching and saying all you do is trap is not going to get you fucking anywhere. Sarge, Mr. Lubner, just make saves. Don't worry about traps. How about that? You want to chirp the icon, you silly bastard. Come on, get out of here. And as far as turd shots go, you got to read and react. I saw Agent make a post, a guy in this show who's been an absolute ghost. We'll call him Casper from now on. But Casper made a post and saying like, oh, get turded. Well, dude, as a defenseman, if I see that there's one guy streaking the net and that's the only play, I can anticipate a turd's coming. I can get myself in a position to make a play. If a turd goes in on me, guess what? Then that's on me. But bitching about it, come on, man. Play D. Figure it out. I'm sick of it. It's adaptation. It's a new game. We got to figure it out, but crying about it ain't going to do any good. And I hear an awful lot of fucking crying about how the game's playing. The skating's this, the skating's that. This game is nowhere near as bad as 18. I am not saying it is perfect, but it is nowhere near as bad as 18.
How can anybody cry about a team playing the trap? Or how can anybody... Okay, listen. I get everybody's frustrations with, like, turd shots because the game is so broken that those turd shots can sometimes find their way in, regardless of rebounds or whatnot. But this game literally made it so tip shots go in more, so you can use that to your advantage. Rebound shots kick out more if your goalie's not in the right position, if your defense isn't playing it right. So it sucks to see it, but every fucking team in this league has done it at some point in every season. Like, it doesn't matter. And, like, the thing I saw was one specific team apparently went into a game, and that's apparently their whole game plan was to take turd shots. Maybe your defense was that – I'll give credit to a team. Whatever it is. Maybe their defense was that good, and that's all the team had resulted to. That's us East Ohio Wildcats in the playoffs last season playing against Dom's team. When we started playing better defense in the last 4 games, that's all they had. But, like, it sucks to bitch about whatnot. It sucks to see it. But it's part of the game. Same thing as the trap. How can anybody bitch about the trap? Just find a way to beat it.
You're defensing so fucking good. The only thing that we can do is throw shitters on net and let's cry about it. Well, then I don't know. Then don't trap. Run a more loose. I don't know. Run something a bit looser through the neutral zone. If you want to do that, you don't want to worry about run something looser through the. I don't know. But you got to adapt. You got to play low. Penalties are a thing. Time of possession, I think this year will mean so much more than it has in years past, because the longer you have the puck in the offensive zone, the more likely we've seen the penalties. The penalties are fucking sky high this year. Look no further than any series. The penalties are sky fucking high. So with that said, you get a little bit of sustained offensive zone time. You move that thing quick, you're going to have penalties, but you have to adapt. It's a new game. So let's not cry about things in the game, please. Now, let's get into the standings here. I figured we could have done series and breakdowns and stuff, and we could still do that. But let's look at the standings. Obviously, right now, Sports is in first place, but Brian hasn't done his stats because he sucks. So that's the thing. So currently, there's 6 games, 10 points. Second place is none other than my team. You should have played that dude. Marty McFly, weak-ass forfeit win. Hannibal Burris and the boys. Right now, 5 points in that first series, sitting in second place. Pale, you got to see this team firsthand, man. What are things that you saw? What are things you like? What are things you didn't like? Is this team going to be a contender? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had you guys ranked as the number 2 team in the league on my power rankings anyway. Then getting to play you, I think that was justified. I mean, your defense is stifling. You've got really defensive forwards and 2 great defensemen between yourself and Sidu, and it's really hard to get through, and it's really hard to get scoring chances. We had one game where we were able to break through and make some things happen, and it ended in a 4-3 win, and the other 2 were 2-1 losses for us. So, tight checking, low scoring, 1-goal games, but it was just tough, man. There was no space out there.
Ability, man. When you look at this team and you see names like Sea-Doo and Dalai Lama and Hockey Town and Esoteric and X Daily, these are all first rounders. These are first round picks every single season, and the league allowed this to happen. How do you feel when you look at a team and look at this roster?
I fucking hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it, man. I've actually talked to Dalai Lama about this slightly, just like a little bit. We didn't touch on all the shit I'm about to say, but basically, I don't understand how in the world Daly goes out there, because I've been preaching to this guy. We got to force Daly into doing some scouting. Daly, he can't. I don't feel can keep part. I shouldn't say that. He could, but he's got to keep pace with us in the scouting game. Stay on top of the new great league members, and we got to force this dude to draft a team. What happened in this draft was he went out there and was able to piece together known greats who are I think 4. I think it was settled on 5, right? 5 first rounders total, including yourself. Like, that's kind of shitty. Like, I don't know how this happened. I'm not looking forward to playing your team. And if I'm being 100% honest, especially after facing, let's say, the second line of Cosmic Squad, I really feel this team is the team to beat in the league right now. I don't think you guys should fly under the radar. I have no intention on letting you do that on my end. If anyone is overlooking this team or thinking that they're just not that good, boy, get it together, because this team's going to be so tight on defense, you're going to hate life. And that whole trap that some people are apparently bitching about, you're going to be bitching about it a whole lot more. So that's my take on that. It's a great team.
But there's one big flaw, Cortez. There's one big flaw. X Daly is on left D. He can't play there. He can't play this position.
You're not going to get me to say good things about you. Is that what you're trying to do right now?
Cortez, the icon cannot play left D. It's not possible. He sucks at it. So what did you see out there in that game, in those games? Is this team the real deal? I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just telling you what the people are saying. Not what the icon is saying, what the people are saying. The people are saying he can't do it. Pale, I see you. It's that big, in case you were wondering. Now, Bailey, when you look at this team, is this team a legitimate contender?
Absolutely. And I thought that since the draft, to join in on if I hate it or not, having Dolly, Esso, and Daly all on the same team while being in the media chats is an absolute mess, because they're just going to see team blowjobs the entire time, and a lot of blah, 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 because Dolly went on. But the team just seems to be so structured. I don't think – when I look at the team, I don't think of an offensive threat. But, again, very identical to teams from the past of defense creates opportunities, and this team plays very good defensively. They cover their lanes. The trap is great. You don't have a lot of space in the zone to work with. If you're going to strike on this team, you have to strike on them fast, and it has to be done efficiently in that quick amount of time. Pale obviously knows that, as we played them in our first series. And I'm actually very happy to have played them in our first series, because I think – arguably the best defensive team in the league. So that's why I'm always happy to start with that, because if we can improve from there, that's a great thing to go off of. But Daly, I'll give you the props, man. You played great at left D. Anybody who thought you is messed up in the head. I think defense transfers to both sides. Did you switch your hand over, or are you still using
right-handed?
Lefty?
Right-handed.
So you switched to righty, so that's something different I haven't seen you do.
Right-handed.
So I mean, like Ozzy kept trying to do some same things on you once or twice every 10 seconds, and it wouldn't work. And finally, he tried something new with Pale, and it worked. But then you figured that out, and it kept fucking us. And it just, again, your team is the real deal. I think you and Cosmic, and I think Pale, myself, and Sober all said that on the show. I think you guys and Cosmic have the two best teams moving forward. And unless people can figure out how to break defense in this game, which it's not easy, they're going to have a tough time playing you guys as you get better and better.
It would shout out to Steven Kumarellis.
Absolutely not. Move on. Absolutely not.
Man,
move on.
coming back into the goalie position, the guy looked like a top goalie the other night. So shout out to Steve, man. He looked really good.
He did do well. Absolutely.
Let's take a look at a couple things, and we can move on, but we're going to take a look at a couple things. First of all, I want to talk about mistakes that were made in this draft, and it looks no further than round one. You see, people didn't think I would do it. People didn't think it was a thing. People didn't think he wouldn't actually take her, would he? He wouldn't do that. Of course I fucking would. I take the best player available on the board, and see, you guys allowed that to happen. Ability, can you believe it? Number 9, they allowed it to happen. So you give me the best right D. I'm the best left D in the league. I just move my happy ass over to my side, and I play right there. You got the two best at their position. Sorry, Doug. Sorry, Kayla. It's just the reality. And then you give me Hockey Town in round 2. A guy's, oh, this guy can't. Round 2, you give me him. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Everybody shit on Steven in round 3. I got the best goalie in the league in round 3. Thank you very much. And then the plans started to happen. Dalai Lama, number 1 overall last year. You guys remember that. Dom Silva. I know you're talking hashtag I like penis, but you remember that, right? Your number 1 overall pick helped you get all the way to the Cup Finals. Yeah, you guys gave him me in round 4. And then round number 5, and I warned you, and I told you, and I built it, and I gave you every hint in the world. I told you all that Esoteric was on the rise. I told you Esoteric was back. I told you Esoteric was training.
I thought he was retired.
I told you, Bailey, you hear what you want to
I
hear.
thought he wasn't even in the draft.
It's disgusting because you sit there and you don't listen, Bailey. You don't listen. You've won a cup, and I can't believe how much you don't listen. You hear what you want to hear, but you're not listening to the words that are being said. Esoteric in round 5 is an absolute travesty, especially somebody who is on the rise like he was. And then to top it all off, Clancy in round 6. This guy used to be a 3rd rounder in this league. He plays goalie. He plays forward. And you guys just let me have him. And you wonder why we are where we are right now. So, again, this team is built for the long haul. This team is built for the playoffs. It's just a matter of where we finish. And I think we all know where that's going to be. I want to move on to the resistance. La resistance. I don't know if there's a law in there, but I'm going to put it in there. La resistance. This is BTW's team. And when I look this team up and down, I see a couple things. I see BTW. I see Annex Crispy, Bromance. Oh, wait, they're actually brothers. The love is so real, and I appreciate that. I like that. Amazing Viper, the trigger man, although he's not triggering all that much this year with only 1 goal in the first 3 games. You got Necky. You got Tompkins. And you got, oh no, Tomahawks on this fucking team.
That's what you get for saying anything good at all.
You know, it's funny because, like I said,
just move on from them. We're
not going to stop. No, I want to give Tomahawk a little bit of due. Tomahawk wins a cup, and he does what every first-time cup winner does. The dick liquor gets a lot looser. It gets a lot more loose, and then all of a sudden, things start coming out of it. A lot more things start going in it, and all of a sudden, you're a fucking legend. He's got 1 belt. He's a fucking legend. Well, guess what? He's on a good team now. He's got BTW. The thing that worries me about this team is how is BTW going to play center? I wonder how much ice there's going to be. Same problem if this team gets down. Very high offense with Crispy and BTW. Viper fills in nice as a 3. We've already said that for seasons on seasons. But how will this team do when they are down? The D pair is nice. You got Necky. I'm a big Tompkins guy. I think that he's a great player. I just wonder a little bit, Pale, when you look at this lineup, What are some of your concerns, or do you think this is all steam ahead, man? Good to go.
Well, first off, BTW at center, I was concerned about. He's a natural left wing, and then he goes out and drafts Viper, and Viper is left wing only. That's the only place he can play. So, worried about that. I've never seen BTW on center. I haven't seen him take faceoffs. It's apparently not a problem because they're cleaning up in the series that they've played already. Secondly, their defense, it looks okay. Like it just doesn't wow me. Tompkins is a solid second guy. I think Nexus is borderline first, borderline second guy. And I think BTW reached a little bit in the draft to take him where he did. But that's his guy. That's who he plays with a lot. So, I mean, this is a team that's very #chem, as Don would say. There's a lot of guys that play with each other a lot, so they're comfortable with each other. I'm expecting to see an early surge very early in the season, and then maybe a little bit of a drop-off later as the season goes on.
What do you think, Ability, when you're looking at BTW? He's obviously walking that fine line of being that. I feel like he maybe is a first-round talent, end of the first round. When you look at his team and you look at the familiarity and the things that he has, how do you like this roster? Do you ultimately think him playing center could hurt these guys? Because he's a left winger, man, and there's a lot more responsibility playing up the middle. There's a lot more responsibility with that. Do you think that this team is going to be there in the end, or are you not quite sold on them yet?
No, I think they're definitely going to be there in the end. I mean, in the draft, I was most upset. I'll actually let Brick City off the hook here, even though he gave me his word and then did the exact opposite. Anyway, the pick that really upset me in the draft was right before my third pick in the draft. I was going 43. BTW jumped in there and snagged Viper. Now, I think that BTW at center is what it is. The guy can play the game. A lot of people on this game are relatively good at multiple positions, even if they favor one. Right? Daly, you can attest to this. I think that the team's going to be just fine. Honestly, there's a group of teams in this league right now that, whether they know it or not, there's probably like 7 of them. We're going to be fighting tooth and nail for top playoff spots. That's the way it is. So it might be more than that. It might actually be 8. But this team's going to be one of them. I expect them actually to probably finish within the top 5, I'd say, in the league. I like what they've got going. They are all familiar with each other, and I think that's going to give them a slight advantage. BTW did a pretty good job here. The only thing that's kind of got me scratching my head is how does Crispy not have 1 assist? I mean, the guy, I see him pass the puck, and he does great things. He buries a lot of shots too. He's got 7 goals, but, man, got to get some apples on the board. And Tomahawk, man, keep it up. I want to see another Vezina, bro.
Oh, God. It's like this thing, like goalies, like just stick together or something. It's disgusting, really. Hey, Tomahawk. Hey, #I like penis. So nice to see you. So happy. I'm not using 2 hands because yours ain't that big, so I'm just going to keep using one like this. I'm disgusted, honestly. Whatever, man. The guy wins 1 cup. He thinks it's a thing. His name's on the belt, though. Abilities is. Shout out to Ability. Do you know everybody on this panel right now has their name engraved on that belt? Did you know that?
Well, mine's getting engraved right now. So
everybody's name, every single one of the people on this panel are winners, proven winners, and we're all on the belt. Every single one of us. We're all on it. Tomahawk's not on it. He was in the back seat to get on it, but he's not on it. Because Tomahawk, when he captained, because people are going to talk about my bad 2 seasons.
Strictly business.
Yeah, let's talk about your 1 run as a captain, Tomahawk. That absolutely.
Too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and they were both equally shit. Anyways,
Bullet Club and Strictly Business.
Yeah, let's talk about your 2 dumpster fire teams, Tommy. Just sit in the fucking backpack. It's really easy. See, Tomahawk, you got me fired up now. And the reason is because not only were you in D-Mart's backpack the season before that, and we're not even going to talk about that, but now winning a cup in the backpack of Brick City and Bailey Cortez and C-Dub, and you're going to sit here and open your fucking mouth to the icon. You must be high. I will bury you. I will end you. So I suggest you show up and sit in BTW's backpack and get carried once again. And if you do that, you might still have a career here at 239. Moving along, we have the elites and Dangerous, who don't quite make the elite decisions when benching themselves, as I do this back and forth.
Real quick. My missus just brought a little note down here for me because she's tuned into the show, and I don't know if you guys can read this. Let's see how close I can get it.
Does that say roid rage?
It definitely says roid rage, exclamation point, question mark.
It's not roid rage. It's just what happens when the icon is annoyed by the people around him. You have to understand. But you say roids, I say I sup one. So let me take this opportunity. Make sure you pick it up at 239hockey.net along with the iFuel. If you mix them together, it is the best of both worlds. You can perform just like the icon does.
Official sponsor of 239hockey.
Follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much. Now, the Elite and Dangerous got Desired Custom, King Rome, Ability, Notorious Figo if he decides to show up. Headless Fragu. Oh, wait, he's off the team. Blasey no longer on the team. That is Nick the Greek. We got to get that upgraded. I will talk to my people to get that taken care of. And Link Runner. Now, Ability. Is Link Runner your goalie, correct? That's fact?
Yep.
How has he been so far? I want an honest opinion. This is your floor. This is your thing. I'm going to get the other guy's opinion on your team, but I want to know, how is Link Runner been playing so far? 2-4. I see a lot of goals against.
Well, that's not really all his fault. I did play against Cosmic's team at right D. This is the first time I played right D ever in a league game or defense really in a long time. So the goals aren't his fault. He's actually been playing great, and Link's been making some amazing saves. There's one element of his game that I want to work with him on, and that's all I'm going to say there. I'm not going to tell any of you cucks, but I love you all, by the way. I didn't actually mean that. I'm so sorry. But no, he's been playing great. I actually am really impressed with him. I love the dude's personality. He's always upbeat. He's always positive, and he shows up with a good attitude, ready to play. I can't ask for anything more out of my goalie. The kid's doing it.
Well, here's the thing, man. You said that you never played right D before. Had you taken your ISUP 1, that wouldn't have been a problem. So maybe the missus can get it for you as maybe an early Christmas present to enhance your play and maybe enhance some other things if you know what I mean. That is what the ISUP 1
taking
does.
some iFuel right now. This is
he is. There it is. And that's why Bailey Cortez has recovered from his injury in record time. Pale, when you look at Ability's team, man, I see a lot of good things. I love the King Rome pick. I think that was a great pick. I know Ability doesn't know a ton about Rome, but King Rome has some namesake with him, and that skill set always seems to correlate over into the new games. His teams generally are around the playoffs, 2 teams that are on. Desired Customs with 11 points, averaging almost 2 clicks a game. That's impressive. What do you think, Pale? Is this roster one that's going to get going, or Figo needs to be there? Like, what are you thinking on this, man?
Yeah, I mean, Figo definitely needs to be there. I think that's kind of a one-off thing. I think he had something crazy going on that night. I don't think it's necessarily his fault, but I don't think you'll see it the rest of the season, most likely. Yeah, I mean, Figo's the key to that cog on offense. Rome is your Selke caliber center. He's a guy that's going to get back for you. He's going to create. But he needs guys to get to puck too, and Figo can be that for him. The thing is, man, there's some question marks on the roster. I mean, Desire Customs, he's played D in this game before, or in this league before, but how good is he at D? And who's your lefty ability? Who's
Headless Frangu.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So Frangu, he's always been a number 2 guy in this league as well. So you wonder whether they can pull that together, those two together. And then on left wing, obviously, there's question marks. Blase goes out. He takes 1 million penalties. You go out and take Nick the Greek. And, we'll see. I think there's question marks on the left side and on defense as a whole. And I think, whether you or Link Runner's in net, it's a toss up, but, I'm excited to see how you guys do. I think, you're a little bit better than what people are giving you credit for. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Now we're going to do something different because we're up against it here. I'm going to go on to the next team and we're going to do one by one. Do a little bit different. So I want to move on here to D's Pucks. This is a shotgun team. Now this guy, it's tough, man, because these guys just come at me. and they come at me. Here's another one. Jim Rage, Roid Rage. He's out there fucking 420 bongs in his mom's basement, and he's sitting here telling me about, I'm over it, man. There you go, Shotgun. I'll make you relevant. I'll make you polarizing. I'll make you a fucking thing. Don't worry about it. XDALY's in the house. So you look at the lineup, man. He takes Tom FTW, who's arguably one of the better two-way center in the league. He got that right. Sober enough, looking for career revival at 2.25 points per game. He's got 7 through 3. Shea, who really couldn't find his way last year, he's got 5 through 3. Rondon Vellante and Elliotism should be an interesting D pair. And Master Shotgun, the goal line king himself, you won't catch him moving very much. He'll be in the pipes there, sitting on his goal line, looking to get carried by his team. I actually don't hate the roster. I really don't. But he better hope they don't patch it, and he better hope that all of a sudden he's got to start moving, because he might be in a world of trouble over there with these pucks. But ultimately, I think they could score some goals. Sober has a good first series. It'll be interesting to see. Shea's taking 10 penalty minutes. That's scary. That's a lot of PIMs early. Pale, what do you think of these pucks in the roster?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a lot of PIMs early too. It's tough, man. Especially we had that series right after they patched the stick lift, and that was tough to adjust to. Now it's the poke and the stick lift that are tough to work with. But no, I'm a big fan of Shotgun's roster. I had him ranked pretty high in my power rankings that I posted, and nobody else really did. I think people are going to underrate his team. Tom FTW and Shea, I think, are two really good forwards to start with, and I think he has a great D pair. Rondon Vellante is a great defenseman. I love playing with him. Last season, I do it all over again. Absolutely, 100%. Rondon's a stud. Elliotism I haven't seen a whole lot from, but by all accounts, he's been pretty good, and he's playing his natural position on left D. I think he's a really solid number 2 guy for Rondon. And Sober's going to make shit happen on left wing with those two. I mean, he's obviously the third guy on that front line, and but Tom and Shea are going to make things work. Shea's a little dangly. He's going to drive the net. He's going to try and make things happen, but he's also able to pass quick when he needs to. And Tom FTW obviously can too. So I'm excited to see that team work, and I think they're going to be a lot better than people give them credit for.
Cortez, let's talk about Wholesome. This is Grish's team, man. They came out firing. They went 2-1 night one, but the points are there. 11 points for Grish, 10 points for Crazy Legs, 9 points for Rocco. And the goal assist distribution on this is crazy. It's pretty much 50-50 for all guys. Odd guy on D with everybody's talking about Mr. Mike Scott. And Kelchie's over here. See, this is the thing, man. All of a sudden, Kelchie, I remember breaking Kelchie in this league. I made Kelchie relevant in 239, and now he's out here wanting to chirp. It's funny how it works, but I'm just looking at it, and I think this is a good team. I think they have a lot of good things. Odd guy is somebody who holds the puck too long. And I could tell him 100 times. It doesn't fucking matter. He doesn't listen to me anymore anyway. He doesn't listen to me anymore. We win a cup. He doesn't listen to a word I say. That's fine. The icon did his bit, and that's it. He holds it too fucking long. And in this game, if you hold the fucking puck too long, guess what happens? Bailey, what happens when you hold the puck too long in this game?
You get scored on, and then you get hit in the face by a puck.
Because it's not the same game. Little bump's going to knock you off. Until they patch that, you need to adapt or fail. And I worry about Odd Guy. I worry about him, man. I don't know much about Mr. Mike Scott. Everybody calls him Mr. Mike Norris. Dom's got everybody's dick so far in his mouth, you don't actually know who's good. So yeah, man, I don't know. What do you look at this team? I think the offense is there. I think they're definitely going to score a lot of goals. But what do you think about the back end? And they got Devil, who's back in the league this year.
Well, so that was exactly going to be my question. So is it Kelch and Mike that will switch out at defense? Is that what's happening here? Is Mike Scott the other player on the team? Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
Mike Scott is their D-man not showing up on the roster.
So basically what will happen is I think Mike Scott plays right D primarily. So when Mike's not playing, or when Mike's playing, Odd moves over to left, and when he is playing, Kelch goes up to left. I think this team this team's going to be the inconsistency of defense, and I think goaltending could be the question. I think Devil got a lot of credit for playing with the rejects and playing well there, and I believe it was season 6 or season 5, whatever season it was. But the whole thing is that their defense is going to be the question. And I remember Grish rated this team. His team is like third out of all the teams. And I just remember that was the biggest laugh I had in a long time. So thank you, Grish. The team has the offensive talent no matter what. Defense is the big question, like you said. Will they be able to lock it down? And in this game, you need defense, you need goaltending, and all three of those are all three of those positions of left D, right D, and goalie are the question marks right now. Can they prove it? Maybe. If not, they're going to plummet.
All right, Ability, we're going to do Why Not Zoidberg, because both the Zoidbergians that we're on this show with are on that team. Got Pale Poner at center going number 5 overall. Ozzy, 9041. He went second on the list here. Cortez EA, Joe Stoke, Shock, and Winisimov. You got Ween and net. Looked like Shock played right D. No, lefty. Shock played right D. Right D. Bailey played lefty. Joe Stoke left wing. Pale at center. And then you had Ozzy at right wing. Things that I noticed, Ozzy, you cannot go through good defensemen. Not at the consistency that you were trying. That's not going to work. Quicker passes through the neutral zone is going to really force those D-men to stay in lanes rather than play the puck. I think that you were not able to read that. I think Pale's great up the middle. I think this team has a lot of potential. The breakouts were a big issue. I think the forwards were flying the zone a little early. Ween was fantastic, and net. Shock was predictable. He kept trying to smash boards. Unfortunately, Clancy was not reading that, and he was getting eaten up over there. But I think versus good left wing, that won't happen. So, Ability, when you look at this roster and everything I just said, how do you think this team does? Do they make the playoffs? Are they going to sit on the bubble? What do you think?
I think this team is going to be fighting. They're going to be in that pack of 8 I was talking about earlier, fighting for a playoff spot. But I don't really know how a lot of these teams are going to end up. Like, there's going to be surges throughout the season. So this could be one of those teams that can get a surge going. I like the squad. So what I think has to happen here is, Pale, you touched on it, man. Pale's got to make sure that the penalties get checked out along with Josto, because he's sitting on 10 minutes himself already through 3 games or whatever. So that's not looking good. I like Shock, man. There's a couple people on this team that I would have gladly drafted. So, I mean, I like it a lot. You know, Pale, he's proven himself offensively. You got to catch fire, and you got to light this team, man, because let's face it, Josto's sitting over there on left wing. He has always played support player. He's never been the main guy, man. So Pale's got to be that main guy. And another thing, I see Cortez is the only one on this team. He's shooting at a 50% clip, albeit he's only got 2 shots and 1 goal, but a 50% clip. Okay. So let's feed the puck to Cortez and get some W's out there.
Pale,
well, actually, it worked out pretty well. I'd probably have more shots counted, but I'm assuming they count a tip as a shot from somebody else. So, I mean, that just worked out in my favor, I guess.
Sick. D's nuts, Pale. We're going to talk about D's nuts. That's actually fairly funny. Like, I know it's a thing, but it's obviously Brick's team. His icon or his logo is probably my favorite, because it's the Planners guy with a set of nuts, which I think is hilarious. That's probably the best logo out of all, which is fantastic. He's got Agent on left wing, Brian Collins, Mr. Biko on center, Jelly's on right wing, Brick lefty, Drug righty, Epic, and net. Pale, man, I worry about this forward line, and I don't think this is going to be the lineup all season, because we know how Brick City is. We've all played with Brick City. If somebody farts the wrong way in the first minute of a game, Brick wants to change the lineup. It's not working. We got to do something different. This was my experiences in 9 very short games with him. But Pale, when you look at this lineup, I know Brick and Drug might arguably be the second best D pair in this league. But do you think, as the roster sits, as I stated, this team is a playoff team?
Yeah, I think they are. Brick's got a thing where, like, you know, it's a chemistry thing. He's comfortable with certain guys, and, you know, he may have taken guys a little bit higher than people expected him to, looking at Agent or Biko. But he knows these players, and he's played with them a lot, and, you know, he knows what to expect out of them, and they know what they expect out of him. I think he's going to get everybody on the right page. That said, I mean, he drafted Agent with the intention of saying, look, if the offense isn't working, I'm going to go to left wing, and Agent's going to go to D. Or if the defense isn't working, then I'm going to go back on D, and Agent's going to move back up. So, I mean, that was his plan. That's the intention. And, you know, Agent might not like that. other people on the team or around the league might not like that, but that's the way he does things, and it works, man. I mean, he's got 3 championships in this league, so
but not as a captain.
Not as a captain.
You can't run away from this one.
But look, I think he drafted really well. He got Drug Monkey. Biko, I think, was an underrated center going into this draft. He's a guy that's going to set up guys really well. He's going to be good defensively. Jelly is a guy that can score goals and put pucks in the net, obviously. And he's got a utility guy, an agent that he can move around where he needs to and plays the primary positions that he does. So I think it's going to work for Brick. If it doesn't work, it's going to be at the feet of his goaltending. Epic and Legion and net, either or. There's some issues there. Epic has gotten better. Legion is Legion. I don't think there's any getting better or anything like that with Legion. I think he just is what it is. You know, he's going to play the way that he plays, and he's going to make some saves that he's not supposed to. He's going to let in some goals that he's not supposed to. But he'll have to figure that out as the season goes on, and he might have to give up a piece to shore up that position. But I think Brick's team is a playoff team. I think they're going to be pretty good this season.
Ability, let's talk about this. This is the last one because this is the last one to have stats in. Schwartz, your team doesn't get talked about because, well, you know, you didn't put your stats in, right? Like, that's what happens. So I don't know who runs Skablam. Who's Skablam and who's Big Boy?
That's Pogs.
Pogs. So Pogs doesn't have any stats in. I don't know if they're waiting on others. Like I said, it's tough to say. So if we don't talk about
waiting on Regretski's.
Oh, of course he is. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. So Pogs is going to get skipped on.
Yeah, Skablam won the series 2-1.
So Skablam's going to get skipped on because no Regretski's an asshole. Sorry. I'm sorry, Skablam. We'll get you guys next week, I promise. HUD Addicts Anonymous, Marty McFly's team. I'm actually really high on this team. I think that when you look at the roster, I think this game really plays to this kind of roster. First of all, Derek in net is solid. Again, he can steal games, but he's solid. That's the big thing. We got C-Dub on lefty, Sniper playing right D, which I know he's not comfortable over there, but he can play the side, and he's hungry, and he wants to play, so he's definitely doing it up. I think is BC Redden the other D-man that they have on this team?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, and then you got Marty McFly at center, Burks at right, maybe left wing, and Estradios at right wing. I guess that's how that is probably playing out. The forward lineup is great. This team is going to trap the fuck out of you.
They may or may not swap Burks and Dub at some points, by the way. Just want to throw that in there. Go ahead.
I guess that would allow you to – I mean, what does that really do for you, though?
They did try Burks at right D with Sniper on left D and C-Dub on left wing, so it was more natural stick positions.
Okay.
But I think they only played that one game.
I got some flexibility with the lineup, the whole thing. So ability, when you look at the roster, you look at the flexibility, this is the team that was like, oh, they trap really hard. Well, the trap must not have been that good because in their first series, they're all -5, -5, -5, -4. So I'm thinking it's DJ's team just sucking ass and crying. But when you're looking at it, man, like I like this team on paper, and now they moved to 4-2 on the season. Looks like they got 8 points in the standings. What do you think about this team, Ability?
Well, I think that the trap for any team that has the name Hut in it and is captained by a McFly tells you all you need to know, okay? They're going to definitely give you some defensive pressure. That's the way he operates. And if it works anything like the Heroes did, which it's a different team, I understand, it's going to be tough. You know, I like Marty. I like his first draft pick. I thought he was going to go a different route with the draft, but I got to say here, Sniper was someone that I thought would go under the radar in the draft. Obviously, I wasn't able to get him, but he has shown to be a pretty darn good defenseman. I think you back that up with C-Dub, who I assume he'd be playing that with. I thought that those two, if they get on the same page, they could really make some waves. I think a lot of times, even though we give people props, some guys kind of just skate under the radar, and I think that's what we saw again in this draft with Sniper. I think that he got taken later than he should have maybe, but you know, for Marty's team, I think if you get enough practice in with the squad that you've got, this team's got the potential to do some really good things this season. They're going to be another one of those 8 teams fighting for a playoff spot.
With that said, again, Skablam, I apologize. We're about to wrap it up here. I'm going to send it around the horn once more. Pale, anything before you head out? Do you have a series tonight, Pale?
Yeah, we're playing Team Brick City tonight.
Oh, shit. Hey, listen, man, I want to write up. if on a win, I need a write up, man. I want to see it. So
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
need
That's on
stream for
Captain
that.
Joe Stowe's shoulders. So he's gonna take care of
You know,
those write-ups.
Hey, dude, Joe Stowe is legit at write ups. I like Joey Stopo's write ups for sure. Ability, man. Anything on the way out here?
No, man, I don't. I do want to say one thing. Man, I get it. I get it that we chirp a lot. It's a thing, and you know, with the icon over here, it's easy to get caught up in some of that. But I can't stress enough the importance of a little sportsmanship and how far that goes, not only for your character, but just the integrity of this league in general. So if I could have just a couple words out here, man, no matter how rough things get on the ice, let's show a little bit of dignity after the game.
Yeah.
Man.
Let me touch on that for a second too. I think I know what you're getting at. Was it Cosmic's team? I think took a 30-second pause on somebody up like 8-2 with like a second left in the game. Yeah.
Cosmic, don't be a fucking faggot.
For real?
Fucking faggot. You guys can all touch dicks all on your fucking team and go to, don't be gay. Let the fucking game run. That's such an elitist move. Just let the fucking game run out. Homo. Sorry, go ahead.
That actually wasn't what I was touching on. I just noticed that there's a little bit of negativity. All right, it's fun to chirp and it's fun to give shit, but the negativity, when it reaches a certain level, it actually becomes toxic, and that's what I've kind of been witness to seeing a little bit of, and I don't want to see it because it can really kill morale, in the league. So just be mindful of that, guys, when you're making some of the comments you make out there amongst your friends. It's fine in a lockdown party, but when you're going up in front of the entire league and you're saying stuff, it can be a little toxic. So that's all I wanted to say with that sportsmanship.
The nice guy has spoken. Bailey, you've gone off camera. Do you want to say anything? Or all right, cool, man. He's probably going to deal with his rash right now. So with that said, I got a big series tonight. We're playing Grish and the boys, or whoever the fuck's on that team. Oh yeah, odd guy. Fucking odd guy. Anyways, it's been another edition of Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, the icon, the symbol, Mr. 239, the most polarizing man in 239 history, the king of Thursday nights, X to the D to the A to the Y. Signing off. Everybody have a good night. Pick up your supplements. 239hockey.net. Get them there. Peace. We can't go off live because Cortez isn't here. So they can't end the show. Can't end the show. Can't end it, end the show. But I can hang up on the call because I'm the icon. I do what the fuck I want.
Peace.